Ronna McDaniel, GOP chairwoman for the RNC, is in focus now. So let's start with the reality of just that point. Being hunted by a tax organization and agency, that's going to hurt.
Absolutely. Senator Crapo actually put forward an amendment saying, can we make sure that these 87,000 IRS agents do not target the middle class? And you know what? 50 Democrats said, no, we are going to target the middle class. So every waitress who's depending on her tips, anybody who's getting any extra money in their lives, any extra income, the government just increased the size of the IRS to harass every single average American. It is shameful. Instead of saying, how do we reduce gas prices? How do we get more police on the street? How do we make sure that we're solving the problems that so many Americans are facing? They said, you know what? In a time of recession, let's raise taxes and let's find a way to make their lives even harder by creating a government agency that will target average Americans.
Can we just talk about the statistic, and maybe we can put it back on the big wall? I want to point to one of those government agencies that we're really struggling mightily with now and could probably use 87,000 people. That would be the Border Patrol. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. Another amendment was put forward to secure the border. Every single Democrat, once again, all 50 said no. Remember Joe Biden in his State of the Union saying, we're going to secure the border. Well, they had their chance last night, and their intentions were made abundantly clear. They said, we will not secure the border. We will not fund more Border Patrol agents, as we know that drugs are coming across our border, and it is the leading cause of death for 18 to 45-year-olds in this country right now, with fentanyl pouring through our southern border. But Democrats didn't do that. They didn't put more cops out there. They raised our taxes during a recession. They made sure that our gas prices are going to go up, and they're taking a victory lap. They're taking a victory lap on the backs of average Americans who are really struggling because of their policies, and they doubled down on them yesterday. And every single American who's hurting right now knows that the Democrats do not care because they did nothing to help them yesterday.
The president said this while he was celebrating earlier.
Do I expect it to help? Yes, I do. It's going to immediately help. There's a whole range of things that are really game changers for ordinary folks. Now, some of it's not going to kick in for a little bit, but it's all good.
That part where he says some of it's not going to kick in for a little bit, the Penn-Wharton model that looked at this says that for inflation purposes, it's not going to kick in at all. 2031, they look that far out. It's zero impact on the high inflation, yet it's called the Inflation Reduction Act. Chairwoman.
They're lying to the American people. I mean, even Bernie Sanders went forward and said this will not help reduce inflation. So they lied. They lied with the name of this. People are going to hurt. Not only are we dealing with inflation, which is a tax hike right now, but they just raised taxes in the middle of a recession. Shame on the Democrats, and every American needs to mobilize to make sure that we take back the House and the Senate in November.
All right, real quickly, because Chuck Schumer just moments ago was starting his celebration out with, at last we've arrived. You head up the Republican National Committee. You're taking a look now, 92 days down the road, it's November 8th. What does that statement mean? And did this help or hurt a red wave potential for Republicans, this bill?
Oh, I think this is going to unfortunately hurt the American people, which will make them more motivated to vote Republican. So I absolutely think we're not happy to see the American people struggling. Every one of us, Harris, we talk to people every day who are barely making ends meet, who are deciding, do I have groceries or do I have gas right now? And the Democrats are patting themselves on the back. They're so out of touch with Main Street America right now. For them to raise gas prices, which there is a gas hike in there, for them to say we're going to continue to sell gas to China, which again raises our gas prices, keep our border open, which they did yesterday, and then also raise taxes on the American people during a recession, shows that they do not care about the pain and suffering on Main Street. They're so out of touch in their Washington bubble. But the American people will have the last word in November when we take back the House and Senate.
Let's take a look. According to a new poll, public perception of the economy is the lowest since 2008. It shows 69% of Americans feel the economy is getting worse. And more than 1/3 say they trust Republicans to do a better job handling the economy, compared with the 25% who say they trust Democrats more to deal with that issue. Now, this was taken before they passed this monster spending bill, and we haven't even felt the grasp of some of the items in the bill. The Congressional Budget Office, Congresswoman McDaniel, had said that, again, no effect on inflation in a positive way. It will reduce the deficit. But again, economists have said there's no straight line between reducing the deficit and fixing the pain that we're in with inflation right now.
Yeah, and let's look back at the history of this administration. They said inflation was transitory. That was a lie. They said that they were going to do things to lower gas prices. They didn't. They cut out the Keystone Pipeline day one. We've seen gas prices rise over $2 from when Joe Biden took office. So everything they've promised the American people, they have lied, and they did it again yesterday. And we all know they penalized the oil and gas industry. They gutted them yesterday. They absolutely agreed to a tax increase on gas. That's 16 cents per barrel. They said we're not going to secure our southern border. They're going to continue to sell strategic oil reserves to China. I mean, on every single issue, the Democrats doubled down on bad policy.
China, who's buzzing the tower and a whole lot of other things, with missiles and their military might right now flexing to let Taiwan know they didn't like the fact that our United States House Speaker touched ground for a few hours. That China. All right, let's move to this. Michigan Congressman Peter Mayer, who lost his GOP primary last week, is not letting up on Democrats from meddling in that race. The DCCC poured $500,000 in ads to boost his opponent, Trump-backed John Gibbs. Mayer says the strategy shows what's wrong with American politics right now. Let's watch together.
In a rare showing of bipartisan unity, Nancy Pelosi and the House Democratic Campaign Committee also united to try to knock me off the ballot. Now, this just highlights the cynicism and hypocrisy of our politics today. The fact that we have the establishment left and the extreme right locking arms in common cause paints a very telling picture of where our politics are in 2022.
What's your take on this?
You know, I think the Democrats are so desperate that they're playing in Republican primaries. Remember, Harris, they have 35 retirements of their own. They're going to have very tight races. We need 4 to win back the House. If I were Alyssa Slotkin in Michigan going against Tom Barrett, I'd be mad that they just spent money in Republican primaries because she's going to lose that seat. If I were Dan Kildee in Michigan against Paul Young, I'd be mad that they just spent that money on that primary because he's going to lose his seat. And I can go through a whole bunch of Democrats who are in tight races, and the Democrat Party just played in the Republican primaries. Great, waste your money. We're going to take back the House, but it shows that they have no message to run on. They don't believe in their candidates, so they're trying to meddle in our primaries, and I don't think that's going to work well for them.
Really quickly, that's the House. In the Senate, Democrats are fundraising hand over fist right now. Real quickly, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they're raising a ton of money, but we saw this in 2020. Susan Collins, Tom Tillis, and Joni Ernst were outspent by $40 million, and we retained those seats because message matters, and Democrats right now are for higher gas prices, drugs coming across our border, a criminalized nation with cashless bail, and the Republicans are saying enough is enough, and we're going to restore order to Washington, D.C.
Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel of the RNC, always great to have you in focus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.